Hey, what is up, Debt Free Mafia? Thank you so much for stopping by. Hey, today I wanted to talk about the debt snowball and why it's so effective. We've already had a video on this, but I wanted to show you an actual client's debt snowball in the spreadsheet form and actually show you the math behind it and how powerful it is to help you pay off your debt effectively and keep that momentum going. Momentum is just probably the most important attribute when it comes to paying off debt and becoming debt free. As somebody who is debt free outside of my mortgage, I cannot tell you how awesome it is. We just have so much more cash flow in the month than what we had when we were making payments on stuff. We're able to save for the things that we want to. We're able to go on the vacations we want to. We're able to invest the way we want to. We're able to do things that we were not able to do. And I'm not sitting here trying to brag when I say that. What I'm trying to do is encourage you that this is something that you can do. You just got to put the rubber to the road and make it happen. If you're not familiar with the debt snowball, it's an effective way to pay off debt. We do this after we save our emergency fund of $1,000 to $1,500. After we do that, we start attacking debt with intensity, whether it's sacrificing or whether it's getting extra jobs to pay for it. Whatever it takes, the faster we pay it off, the faster we get out of debt, faster we're able to start living the life that we want to live. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead. We're not gonna waste any time. We're gonna jump right into it. So I'm gonna share my screen with you real quick. This is an actual client, so these are real numbers. These are their numbers. Obviously, I took their names out, but here we go. So the way the debt snowball works is we take the creditors that we owe money to, the balance that we owe, the interest rate that we're paying on that, and then the minimum monthly payment that we're paying on that. This is a spreadsheet that's done by Vertex. I'm going to share this link in the description, the link below. This spreadsheet actually costs money, so it's not something that I can actually give to my clients, but it is something that I use as a tool to help them realize how long it's going to take them to pay off their debt. So also, I wanted to point out, besides these 4 columns, we have the interest only in here. This custom column is if you want to change the order. I'll show that down at the bottom if we wanted to pay off debt in a little bit different outside of the debt snowball. There are just a couple of reasons why we might not use the debt snowball, but for the majority of my clients and the majority of people, debt snowball is the way to go just because it keeps momentum going super fast. So as you can tell here, we got our first, the client owed about 800 or just under $800 to the federal government for taxes that they were paying on. Obviously weren't charging interest, but the payment plan that the IRS had them on was $105 a month, so on and so forth. So we got everything from $800 all the way down to $41,000 for a medical bill. Now, we have all of these. Everything is on here except for the mortgage. We don't put that debt on there because we don't include it in the debt snowball. Reason being is because that comes later in the steps, the baby steps that we teach here at the Debt Free Mafia that we've adopted from Dave Ramsey. So let's go ahead and get started and talk about the math. So I love this spreadsheet because it does all of the math for us. But we have everything in here. We have a starting date of today, which happens to be February 7th, Super Bowl Sunday, actually. And we're going to go through and kind of talk about the numbers. So this client owes just under $120,000 in debt outside of the mortgage. Their monthly payments total almost $2,200 a month, which is really, really tough. That's a lot of money every month going out the door. So what I want to do is I want to go through what it's going to take to pay this off and how long it's going to take to pay it off. Reason why we have such a small payment for this hospital bill because it was being negotiated during the time. As long as you're making payments on it, they're usually happy. $10 is what we could swing for the moment, so that's what we're going to keep it at. It will change the way the debt snowball works. I kind of want to explain it because I know I had this other video, but I wanted to talk through it. What happens is we start to compound our payments. So after we're going to put all of our intensity into this paying off these taxes first. So we list them in order from smallest to biggest, like we said. And every extra dollar that we have, we're going to put on top of the minimum payment. So pretend they found an extra $500 in their budget, so they're going to pay an extra $500 on this. The taxes, so instead of their payment being $105, it's going to actually be $605 because they're going to add that extra $500. After we pay this off completely, which will only take a couple of months, we're going to take all the remaining money for that month and obviously pay down this care credit. so that we can start to put a dent in it. And then the month after that, we're going to be doing I think it was 60, instead of the 605, we're going to add the 50 on top of that. So it'd be 655 would be our payment to knock this down, which would pretty much knock it out. So we'd have these first two debts gone within the first 2 months. And every month, these numbers just start to add together on what the payment is going to be. Keeps adding, so that way we're making huge payments towards our biggest bills towards the end. That keeps us momentum going instead of feeling like we're just barely chipping away with these tiny payments. So I want to show you the math behind it. So here we got the no snowball method. So this is just making minimum payments. We're just going to pay off our debt with minimum payments. This breaks down how long it's going to take to pay it off. As you can see, this gives us a date in a year of when it's going to get paid off. So these first debts are going to get paid off pretty quick within the next 2 years. However, then you start to get into these bigger debts. Like this is 2034, 2042. Then you go all the way down here to that big debt, 2051. That's 30 years from today. And that is if they take on no more debt and have no more financial issues, right? So we cannot be living that way. So let's engage the debt snowball. We're going to actually start being aggressive and compounding our payments to pay off stuff as fast as we can. So snowball method. Now we're doing the adding each minimum payment together as we're paying on the next debt in line. Check this out. Instead of it being this big debt that we were just talking about, instead of it being in 2051, that sped it all the way up to 2026. That is so much faster. Now, here's another thing I want to show you that's really crazy. We're going to go back to no snowball. Okay? And then once we have no snowball, if we add up all the interest that we're paying on that, all of these loans for, that's going to be, almost 22 years, I think, outside of this one, that's going to be them paying $17,517 worth of just interest. That's nuts. That's crazy. Now, if you implement the snowball, again, we add up our interest, they're only going to be paying $11,431,000. So that saves them $6,000 in the long run doing the snowball. So they're saving $6,000 and they're going to pay it off nearly 30 years faster. The debt snowball works, and it works well. There's another strategy called the avalanche. A lot of people swear by that, but that one is really tough, and I've hardly seen anybody ever be successful at it. What it is attacking your highest interest rates first. Most people are not disciplined enough to tackle that. Momentum has been the most successful thing in my client's life to paying off debt quickly. So that's why we want the debt snowball in our life. And here is another thing. We've talked about this on this channel before, but the cost of debt. There's an actual number on it. So I want to go through. So remember how we were talking about how almost $2,200 was leaving their house every single month towards payment? If they weren't in debt, they would have an extra $2,161 sitting around. So let me move this just so you can see, because I'm going to change screens. So I love to talk about this because this is what it's costing us by making payments on things versus taking care of business. So let's say a 25-year-old is planning to retire about 65. Doesn't matter, that can change. They've got nothing saved, but instead of making payments on debt, they're debt free, and they're going to use that $2,161 towards investing. Now, I love to use the number 12% because a healthy either index fund or Roth IRA is going to give you 12% return. I think you're going to max out your Roth right here, but if you can get 12% return on your investments, which is the goal for most people, let's see what we're going to get. We're going to calculate that. Is that not just nuts? That's how much money you can make investing just over $2,100 a month until you're 65 from 25. Let's say you start a little bit late. Let's say we don't do that. We got our debt paid off, but now we're going to start at 45. Still, $2 million at 65. It's a really good goal to try to have at least $1 million set aside for retirement. Guys, there is just so much opportunity here, so don't waste it on debt. I can't encourage you enough to check out the Debt Snowball, implement it into your strategy, pay that debt off, become debt free. Guys, I appreciate you stopping by. Hit the subscribe button to join the Debt Free Mafia. We'd love to have you. This is a place where we continue to encourage financial literacy, personal financial literacy, and betterment in our financial life. So not only that we can be a blessing to our own family, that we can be a blessing to other people and our children and our children's children. So let's change the legacy. Let's take our personal finances seriously, and let's be that change. So guys, I appreciate you so much for stopping by. Again, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Love to have you around. Let me know in the comments what you think of the Debt Snowball and what you want, what you're thinking when it comes to paying off your debt aggressively. I love to hear it. So guys, anyways, I appreciate y'all. Peace.